Welcome to Football Fever, week number 3. Hello again, everybody. I'm Alan Mandel, sports editor of the Killeen Daily Herald, and I'm joined again by our 3 born and bred Texans, our 3 football experts, Jordan Mason, Albert Alvarado, and Clay Whittington. A huge week number 2 in our area, and it starts out with some sad news. Clay, can you tell us a little bit about Killeen Daily Herald all-area most valuable player in 2013, Manny Harris, the quarterback for Copper's Cove? How is he?
Right now, nothing's released officially. Jack Welch is kind of the Bill Belichick of high school football. He keeps it pretty close to his vest. So we don't know the extent of the injury, other than from rumblings I've heard is it's pretty significant. Probably going to miss a significant amount of time, if not the rest of the season. And they're prepared to start moving forward with Michael Hayes as their quarterback. So as of now, that's the plan.
Okay, tell us a little bit about Michael Hayes and about the opponent this week for Cove and your thoughts on how well they'll be able to move on.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, obviously he was a humongous part of the offense. Like you said, player of the year last year, and it's going to affect him. It affected him against Lake Travis. Michael Hayes came in, did I think the best he could really do in the situation. They're going to have a tough game against Round Rock this week. Have to travel for the first time this season, and it'll be interesting to see how they play. Obviously, last week I think they were kind of in shock the whole game after that happened. It happened on the second play of the game, so hit them right away, and I don't think they ever recovered from that mentally. But now they've had a week to let it kind of settle in, realize that things are going to change, and I think they'll put a good performance out there. But it's not going to be the same as what we've seen in the past.
Sure. Okay, and we move to another very big story. Jordan, your team, Ellison, they broke a 31-game. Over 3+ year losing streak. They were thrilled. We were thrilled for them. And now they're getting greedy. They want more. One isn't enough for them. Tell us about Ellison and their foe this week and what your thoughts are on everything.
Well, the interesting thing about Ellison to me is going to practice after that week 1 loss. They didn't really seem that different this week. This is what they wanted to do all year. They want to make the playoffs. They didn't come into the season just to win one game. So, big-time opponent coming in around Rostoni Point. This will be their home opener, and Ellison feels like they have a good chance in this one also. I mean, they've played well. They had a halftime lead in the first game. They won the second game, obviously. They've got a 3-headed monster at running back with Deion Birch, Razil Brooks, and Brandon Johnson. So they feel good going into this one. This will be a good test for them.
Okay, Albert, Killeen. Tough loss last week. How do you see the matchup this week, and can they rebound?
Extremely tough loss. Well, one of the things with Killeen, the last 2 games, Keandre Parker Shepard has gotten the ball, started off as quarterback. In this game, Kenny Arnold kind of had a coming out party once he got put in there as a starter in the second quarter. Completed 28 of 41 passes, 381 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now, he did have to throw a lot because the Roos were behind, so they kind of put the run game on the back burner. But he also spread it around. I think 11 different wide receivers caught passes. So it's not like the opposing defense could hone in on Dante Ellis-Thomas or their big deep threat. Vandegrift, they're an interesting foe. Killeen, goes back on the road, back to the Austin area against a Vandegrift team that actually is pretty balanced. They've only thrown for 2 more yards than they've run all year, but they definitely like to pound the rock and use that to set up the pass. So that young Roos defensive line will get tested. But it'll be an interesting thing. Vandegrift also did get votes in the AP top 10. Didn't crack the top 10, but they're still a quality team.
Okay, and Shoemaker, another team that you've written about so well this year. A tough loss for them last week. How well do you think they'll rebound?
Turnovers. I mean, Shoemaker's offense is still kind of finding itself. That's one thing. But when you turn the ball over 5 times and they played Maynard last week. Maynard scored 21 points on that. That's kind of a recipe for a loss. Interestingly, though, the defense did have, the defense with Kendall Jones, Tenney Call, Rashawn Thornton, Kerry Walker, and the gang. They had their typical big game. Even came out with a big 4th-and-1 stop late in the game. Offensively, the Grey Wolves looked like they got things going with Derek Thomas. Set up a lot of just quarterback draws, straight simple read and goes. He ran 443 yards at the quarterback position. Unfortunately, he went down with an injury on one of the last plays of the game. So, the Grey Wolves might be forced to go with Demetrius Taylor, Joseph Massey. Not sure about Thomas, if he's okay, if he's good to go, but it'll be interesting to see where that position goes once if he does come back later this year.
Okay, thanks, Albert. And Jordan, Belton, 1-1 now. They got a big game out of Caven Johnson last week. He'd missed week 1 and came back with 100-plus yards. Tell us a little bit about their offense and how you see this week's match.
Well, Belton was kind of on a high after week 1, 48-0 over Waco University. Well, week 2 was kind of the opposite. Pflugerville Henderson really jumped on them, came into Belton and jumped on them, and that was kind of took a one on the chin. So coming into this week, they get a Stony Point team that just lost to Heights. I saw that game, and Stony Point turned the ball over a lot, so they'll probably be looking to execute better and be more disciplined. So ought to be a good game between both teams. Obviously, two high-powered offenses that will be going in that game. So whoever brings the best defense that night may be the one that emerges victorious.
And I got to ask you, Harker Heights is 2-0. If we'd have talked in August and I said, "Hey, Jordan, how confident are you that the Heights Ball Club will be 2-0 after 2 games?" What would your answer have been? Did you expect this?
I mean, I did. Apparently, I'm the only person who picked Heights to win that game last week, so I can say that genuinely that I did expect that. But I mean, Heights they looked better from the spring. You could tell that they had a chance to get some continuity under Coach Edwards after he came in last July, and that it was already paying off. And obviously 2-0, having beaten Stony Point last week, they went on the road. Now they finally get to come home. It's a short week, but they're going to play Waco University. Obviously, we mentioned earlier Belton beat them 48-0. So they really want to keep it rolling. They're pretty focused. Like I said about Ellison earlier, not really a change in attitude there. They're locked in. They want to keep the ball rolling, and that was a big win last week against Stony Point. Maybe not as explosive as they normally are outside of Jordan Weller, who had a passing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. But other than that, I mean, they only scored 1 offensive touchdown in the second half and still managed to pull out the victory. So very encouraging win for Heights last week on the road, and they'll look to keep that going this week.
Okay. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Clay. And thank you for joining us for Football Fever. We'll see you here next week, same time, same station, for week number 4.